honestly, most people think that's where they should spend a majority of their time, when in fact it's actually... But before we get into that, I'm going to share with you what you need to sell an online course that actually gets your students real results. Welcome to the Course Consultant Show. My name's Melody, and today we're going to be talking about how to create an online course that sells and actually gets student results. So if you're brand new to my channel, make sure that you subscribe to my Instagram and hit that like and subscribe here on YouTube, where I share valuable tips on how to create and sell virtual training programs that actually get real results. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. If you're brand new to my channel, I am actually someone who started out in the education industry as a traditional teacher. I also went to school for my master's in instructional design. And so I was helping big companies generate virtual programs for compliance, for things like banking and finance and credit, and other things like employee support for understanding how to navigate getting a car. The reality is that when you create an online course, the number one thing that you need to do is to break it down in small bite-sized chunks. Why? The statistics on people actually finishing a course are really ridiculously low. I'm going to actually include a statistic right here. So the first thing that you want to do when you're creating curriculum is think about the overall learning goal. This is something much larger than a lesson or a video tutorial. This is something overall that you want to share with your audience. For instance, if you are an educator in digital marketing, specifically helping with Instagram training, you want to think, what are the overall goals for the customer? What do they need to understand and accomplish through virtual training? That being said, not every single person wants an all-inclusive, comprehensive course. That's true, because when it comes to creating content and running an online business, especially in the B2B space, people might actually be interested in a very small portion of that course. Perhaps they're just looking for the hashtag sets. Perhaps they're looking only for specific information on Instagram Reels. So the truth is that you're going to take that big goal and you're going to break it down into smaller goals. So for instance, you might have an actual template for a bunch of hashtags. You might actually have a way to give people a template for their bio, or whatever the case may be. You want to break it down so it's going to get the most out of the content. This makes it easier for people to implement, quicker to implement, and number three, it's going to achieve faster results. The second thing that you need to do before you actually finish creating your course is to validate your offer. So when you are doing all of your market research, you want to look at things such as, what are other people looking for in this specific industry? Are there competitors out there who are offering something similar? Number three, how do I create a product that has a unique selling proposition? When it comes to creating your lessons and launching your program, I don't recommend having anything perfect at first. In fact, I recommend pre-selling your program before you've even finished it, and see if anyone's even interested in the program before you start developing the materials. In general, I think it's better to just launch a product, get it out there in the market, and then go through a second and third so that you can get more feedback, improve your lessons, improve the course content, and start developing more marketing materials so that you can generate more sales long term. So you want to think about how you can take each step and actually support the growth of your program over time, rather than making a perfect course that's going to be essentially not helping your customers. So again, we are crowdsourcing our course, and we are creating a course that people are looking for based off their needs. So I follow this framework while I'm creating my online courses, and I work with one-on-one clients and group support systems to actually implement this process. So the number one thing that you're going to do is to analyze the overall offer. Is it a profitable idea? Is this program going to support the revenue goals and the business model that I have in mind for my business? What are competitors doing currently in this industry? Do I have a unique selling proposition? From the second and third stages in define and refine stage, we're now starting to look at the overall package and pricing and the content of the course. In this stage, you're probably looking at course materials, analyzing your offer name, deciding on what the big promise, the description will be, and then determining what the overall program outcomes are for students that enroll. In the refine stage, you're really just maximizing and getting feedback from others. Maybe it's switching the name of the program, or perhaps maybe it's creating a better promise or tagline for your course, or maybe changing out a few different types of content that you have in your curriculum. From there, you're going to then create and develop the overall minimum viable product. This is the development stage, and honestly, most people think that's where they should spend a majority of their time, when in fact it's actually the launch period. Most people don't realize that the launch period takes the longest to prepare and the most money. You should actually spend the least amount of time in the development stage, because you are developing while and after you launch. For instance, as you are giving your customers first take or first dibs on your product, you should be actively asking them for feedback so that they can implement it and you can create better testimonials and customer support. So after you develop your first course, you're then going to go through the testing process. This means marketing assets for your sales page, course test enrollments for your program, onboarding processes, email sequences. So when it comes to doing all of those steps, you finally get to the launch stage, right? You've already gone through all these stages. And the launch stage can actually be where you are actively promoting, right? So you're sending emails, you're posting on social, maybe you're doing ads, maybe you're doing an affiliate launch. It just depends on what your needs are, which actually takes the most amount of time. There's an incredible amount of copywriting that you have to do for a live launch. You're probably going to have 5 to 7 email sequences, probably between 10 to 12 graphics, and maybe between 1 to 2 long form pieces of content, such as blog posts or social media content, such as YouTube. So it is very important that while you're creating this content, that you think evergreen. Really think about ways that you can create content that's going to serve as pillar content for your course. I always create content on my website with calls to action. That means I'm embedding forms. It means that I am including ways for people to find out about my other services. I also provide opt-ins, free opt-ins for people to grab free resources. So again, I'm always thinking about ways to really grow my audience. And that's the great thing about creating long-form content. It's really there to serve to optimize it for SEO. It's also there to actually serve as answering commonly and frequently asked questions. And so when you're creating content, you want to think long term. As you're working through those stages, that's where the momentum comes into play. That's where people are excited to join and get inside the program and get your questions answered. So I do think that there's a lot that happens even after you launch, but the first stage is while you're up and creating content, you really want to get into a rhythm, right? Okay, so we've talked so much about how to create content that gets real results, and I've shared with you some strategies on how to get started. But before I begin, I'd love to share with you a student showcase. Take a look at these creators. First up is Vivian, the owner and founder of Vivian's Creativity Lab. Vivian's course, Make a Great Impression, is a perfect option for you if you want to learn creative packaging for your arts and crafts business. This is a great course if you are looking to package your art, prints, craft items, and luxury items like a professional and create a big impact on your customers. Next up, we have Rafi's All in a Summer's Day, July podcast done in a day VIP experience. If you're looking to take action and get that podcast into the world, you will have a perfect option with this strategy. Imagine having a path to follow, a guide who will kick away the rocks and move the roadblocks so you can reach the end of that path with a full podcast launch. Imagine having a completed process, a precise list of action steps completed, and a minimal, doable checklist of what to record and how to record. This is everything that's included in Rafi's July VIP days. Next up, we have Jennifer's Kudos System. Jennifer's Kudos System is a culmination of templates, tools, and process to get your course, program, or service rave reviews on record. Okay, so we had 3 incredible students show you the power of creating products and services through the online course that I actually launched called the Thinkific Genius Lab. If you're looking for some free content, I definitely recommend checking out my YouTube series, which I'm going to go ahead and link right here. That's going to cover everything that you need in order to get started with Thinkific, start creating that online course, and scale to an online course school with that platform. So if you're wondering, how do I get started with my course creation? I don't have a big email list. I'm not sure exactly how to create content that will get my customers results. And I'm really starting new and or want to grow my online course income this year. Well, I recommend you join me with my free resource called the Course Creator Starter Outline. This is my ultimate resource for new course creators and more advanced course creators that want to get their customers results without providing fluff information. So if that sounds like you, I definitely recommend that you check out the free Course Creator Starter Outline. Make sure that you grab it in the description. If you're watching here on YouTube, you can also grab it in the pinned comment. So check out those resources down below, or find me on my podcast, which is also available anywhere that you're listening. That's it for today, friends. Make sure to like and subscribe. I would love to see you share in the comments below which one did you find most helpful when it comes to creating an online course. That's it for now. Bye.